Hey everybody, it's Brendan. Welcome to another sort of new edition of the OBT show. This is the second half of the exciting conversation that you first heard last week, in which Chris and I battle it out with our nerd knowledge with special guest and friend of the show, Daniel. And last week, Daniel and Chris got into it about Transformers. We talked about the atrocity that is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Batman, Amazing Spider-Man Dose, and the X-Men as well. Now we're going to get into the other nerdy things we love, like video games, as we review what happened at E3 and whether or not Chris and I like stuff. And it's going to get weird at the end, as it always does. So we're going to dive right back in. And this is Chris trying to convince me that we need to buy a soundboard with all the $0 we have in our budget. What else, Chris? What else is out there?
At least to talk about the standalone Batman film. I know we both discussed this, that we would be okay with a Ben Affleck directed Batman movie because it might actually be a good movie. He's not necessarily the greatest actor, but he's got some good directing chops.
He does.
All of his movies that he's done so far have been phenomenal. So I don't have any reason to believe against it. I mean, it is a superhero movie, but if you can do an escape movie very well, and you can do a bank robbing movie very well, those are pretty decent elements that take part in superhero movies. So I don't see any reason to feel bad about it. I don't know.
I guess right now for me, I'll get more excited once I hear who the villain's going to be in that one.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big thing to me. Right now, I don't really care. I'm fine with Ben Affleck. I'm not too excited about it. But if they get a good, strong villain in there, I'm like, okay.
My vote, Scarecrow. Let's do Scarecrow for real this time.
Oh, for real? Like a real Scarecrow who's actually really fucking scary.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, not just a guy with a burlap sack on his head doing errands for Ra's al Ghul.
You know, I mean, we talked about this. I'm rereading Nightfall.
Yeah,
and
it's scary.
Scarecrow in
that
Nightfall is terrifying. He steals these like holographic imaging things and sets them all around the city, and has his giant head floating above the city, talking to people like, you know, y'all declare me, you declare me
y'all
a god,
gonna die.
and,
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Living in fear, and it was creepy. It bugged me out when I was reading it. I was like, oh shit. I don't know how I skipped over that as a kid and was just like, oh yeah, this is fun.
Well, Nightfall. Have you read Nightfall?
No, I haven't.
It's the story of Bane, and if you like Bane at all, this is the one of his. It's his second appearance. The first one that was a one shot with the introduction of the character. This is the story of what if somebody actually let loose all the villains at the same time that Batman has the face. So he has to run the gamut of Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, Joker, and at the very end, Bane then figures out he's Bruce Wayne, beats the crap out of him, paralyzes him. And then,
so that's where the break the backstory comes from.
Yes, that's where that's why that was featured in Dark Knight Rises. And then Jean-Paul Valley, who was the crazy Azrael in the comic books, is tapped as the replacement to be Batman. And he gets slowly crazier over time because he introduces gauntlets, he introduces missiles and armor, and he's killing criminals, like common criminals he's killing. And Bruce is rehabbing in South America, and then he comes back.
Well, he wasn't really rehabbing in South America. He was trying to find Tim Drake's dad, who got kidnapped, and Chandra. I can't think of her last name.
Which was super exciting as a kid to read Detective Comics featuring paralyzed Batman and Alfred wheeling him around. Yeah, I remember I didn't read any of them, and I remember rereading Nightfall, and I was like, "Where were these?" And I was like, "Oh yeah," because when I was 11 and the cover featured Bruce Wayne in a wheelchair, I wasn't like, "Yes, excitement."
I gotta get my hands on that.
With him being brooding, and being like, "I wish I was Batman." I could get up and get my own sandwich. Alfred, why? Who am I? Am I less of a man?
I mean, in the wheelchair, he did beat the snot out of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, it featured Alfred kicking ass, but again, it was like,
that'd have been nice.
An 80-year-old butler starring Detective Comics takes on petty criminals. It was just like terrible reading. But he comes back, takes over the mantle of Batman again. All's well. And then Bane got reduced to almost the equivalent of what he is in Batman and Robin for some time, as just a big, angry, dumb guy that tried to kill him. But they've rehabbed him since, where he's becoming more organized again. But they never quite hit it like they did with Nightfall.
Well, yeah, because Nightfall made him to be a genius.
Yes,
Basically,
and then
he took over the entirety of Gotham, like every aspect, and then he had the unions crumbling. He had all of the gangs. Like it was nuts to see one person in a short amount of time. And he started it all by going to Arkham Asylum with rocket launchers, blowing up the side of the building, then crate dropping in weapons for all the villains to come out and kill the cops and be free.
Wow.
It was nuts.
So really,
that's crazy.
Nightfall Batman Begins borrows that element from Nightfall, where all the villains are let loose at the end. So that's your education of comic books for today, Daniel.
Thank you.
You're like, I don't care.
You don't need to read. You need good friends that read.
So we'll see. I don't know. I guess again, I'm kind of indifferent. I need to see the villain as well. I want it to be Scarecrow. I want it to be a cool Scarecrow, which would be really awesome.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. What else is going on, Chris and/or Daniel? Or
maybe
both?
a Mr. Freeze.
Ooh, a good Mr. Freeze, maybe.
Nice to meet you, Batman. Everybody freeze. It's about to get cold in Gotham. It'll be a cold day in hell.
He was just too big. He was too big. He's
Nora.
like a scientist, and he's super jacked Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The plant lady betrayed me. I will make the world cold.
I don't know. It just sort of degenerates into just an angry German.
It is cold.
I'm Mr. Freeze. Terrible. But if you're ever sad, you can YouTube Mr. Freeze puns. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's a good watch.
I do that sometimes when I'm angry. I'm like, let me put this on. Then it was,
Nice to meet you, Batman.
and then I just start laughing.
Immediate satisfaction. 0 to happy.
0 to happy. Moving from movies,
to
video games.
video games.
Ooh.
Oh,
Heyo. E3.
transition. E3 was a big electronic entertainment expo. Because there's three E's.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I figured that out on my own.
Just now.
Just now. It's like, when? Tuesday. Nintendo was there, sort of. They did.
Really? You start with Nintendo?
I want to start bad.
You know what? They didn't have a terrible press conference, but that's fine.
Does anyone? Let me put this out there. Does anyone really care about what Nintendo's doing? As I'm 30. You're 28. How old are you?
28.
You're 28. We're grown men.
Still talking about nerdy shit.
Still
High
talking-
five, everybody! Yeah, nerds.
I'm like, real men talk about Marvel movies and DC's timeline. Kids like Nintendo, but seriously, is it just kids that care about Nintendo?
No. I know the hardcore gamers are excited for the next Smash Brothers, which is coming out on the Wii U.
Who cares?
True.
Do you care about that though? Is that going to make you buy
I'm not
it?
saying you or you. I'm
No,
saying
I'm not interested.
this specific group that is interested are
It does
very
make me feel
interested.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
You know, the Smash Brothers. I remember playing that growing
Yeah.
up. That was awesome. So, but I don't have a Nintendo, so I guess I
I'm
won't
thinking about
go out
picking
and
it
buy
up. It looks good. The graphics on it look great. They're adding
Just
a lot
for
of
this
cool
game?
characters. No, I'm picking up the game. I have Mario Kart 8 right now, and it's awesome.
Oh, you've already
Oh,
got
so you
a
have a
Nintendo.
system? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, I was on the same page with Dan.
Yeah.
I was like, you're just going to buy a system for that one game.
No, I'm gonna buy the game, sit there, stare it, cuddle it a little bit. Be like, I wonder if I did that final
I
smash the way
wonder
you
what
wanted.
you look like in real life.
You've got great graphics.
You can look up YouTube clips like, it feels like I'm really playing. They did a video. They did a video that highlighted everything. They didn't do an actual presentation. They were describing it as that they get instant feedback, because I saw an interview with the CEO. He's like, well, we don't need the feedback from the audience. We get it instantly online, which is partly true.
Yep, it's very true because everybody's been hating Nintendo.
Which I think is
Justified.
You hit the nail on the head. That the real reason why they don't want to fill an room anymore, because for the last 2 years they've gotten their ass handed to them by Microsoft and Sony, so they are not going to do that. But so, what do you think? Good? Let's rank that. Good? Nah? Or bad for Nintendo at E3 this year? And if you haven't, did you see anything?
I have not.
Rank it anyway. Who cares?
I'm gonna give it a eh.
All right.
I'm
You
going
weren't
to say
excited.
it's the smartest move Nintendo could have done as far as E3 is concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say about like 8 or 9 years ago, E3 was starting to scale back,
Yeah.
and it since has not really scaled back. It's just been completely getting more and more and more like a large conference again. And I think Nintendo is just like, you know what? They're not buying into the flashy. They're gonna get hated regardless.
Nintendo is like in the trenches and just peeked its head out and said nope, and then they did fine just by not doing anything. So
They still
they
showed
didn't
off
get
games.
killed.
They still showed off games and games that people do want to play. Not all of the people, but a portion of the people.
I still, what I think, I don't know when it happened really, but for me, it's just if I went and time traveled to 8-year-old Brendan and said, when you're 30, Nintendo is going to be shitty, you're not going to have anything from them, and they are number 3 behind something called PlayStation and an Xbox, I would have punched my older self in the balls and said, get away from me, strange man, and then...
I need an adult.
Yeah, I need an adult, first of all. That's what would have happened, first of all. But I think my head would have exploded because it was, at that point in our lives, Nintendo was it.
That was it.
What happened? Is it because they have no third-party support?
Yeah. We grew up.
Well, yeah.
B.
But I still love Zelda. I still play. I have an N64.
Zelda.
I play Zelda. I play all
Have you
those
played
games.
any of the other Zeldas?
No.
They were actually good games.
All right.
But we grew up and we started playing games like Call of Duty and, you know, the later Mortal Kombats that featured more gruesome shit in it.
Yeah, well, Nintendo really stuck to their kids' banner, where other game system expanded.
And that's where we have the lack of, I don't know if I really want to play that.
They missed the train there. On
They
that
missed
one.
the train.
They were trying to focus on too young and not.
And it's not like Nintendo has a history of this because they were having really gruesome games on Nintendo and on Super Nintendo. And then N64, they started kind of retreating a little bit from that genre. And then GameCube was really a departure from that, where they only had maybe a Resident Evil for an entire generation for that system.
Was probably the
and
best
it was the best Resident Evil of all, and sold really well for them. And then they're like, nope, not going to keep doing it. And then they made something with sticks called Wii. And I think that's really where...
Called the Wii.
And that's where most people were like, I'm off. If you're an adult, you're like, this is dumb. Because they really invested and went all in this whole concept of family gaming where you can wave shit at each other.
But it is fun for families. It's just not something that a 20-something or 30-something who isn't in a big family wants to run out and buy. Unless you really just like fake bowling at home.
You know, it's good for the old people, too.
It's good for the old people,
It's
too.
good for the old people. It gets them out of their chairs.
Gets them out.
Get some exercising a little bit, you know.
It's moving and
still
grooving.
to stay close to the bathroom.
I just bowled a turkey.
Then you can poop your pants. That's what I...
In the comfort of your home. It's great.
Hey, if I make it to the point where I'm playing a video game system and pooping my pants, I'm doing pretty damn well.
You're doing very well.
That is my dream. I want to do that now, where I'm so lazy. I'm just going to shit my pants.
You can't... You gotta let it happen when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't rush it.
Full colon support. Just I'm not holding.
You're gonna get there
in.
and you're gonna forget the old days.
I know it's gonna be sad. But let's move on to Xbox, which they last year when they did the premiere of Xbox One, which was terrible. They were basically saying we are going to be your new television. Look at us with NFL. We're connected to ESPN. You want to watch soccer and then Skype in with your friends? We could freaking do that. And then you're never going to need a goddamn remote again, you piece of shits out there. And guess what? It's going to be awesome. We're taking everything, you fuckers, and it's going to be wonderful.
That's pretty much what happened.
And then they went, yeah, we have some games. So now, and then that approach didn't work well.
No.
Because especially when you're at something called E3 with nerds in attendance that were like, what is this? That felt betrayed. And then they're also like, guess what, you shitheads? If you want to buy a game, don't let your friends borrow it, because guess what? We're only giving you 2 shots. So give me some goddamn money if you want to play our games, because we are elite. And then this year they're like, anybody can play a game at any time. It's cool. Be friends with us again. They went almost to the extreme opposite of, we will play all fun games. Look at the games we have. And we still do entertainment things, too.
Well, a lot of the problem with last year with Xbox was a lot of things that they did seemed bad, but were misunderstood. Like, the reason that you couldn't share your game with multiple people was so that you could install it on your system and never have to use the disc ever again. Because it was copyrighted to you, like you had the key, so it was on your system. Now it's back to what the current setup is for PlayStation and for Xbox 360, where you install the game, but you still need the disc to initiate play. So that way, they were trying to prevent one person taking a disc, installing it, and then giving it to 50 of their friends. That's fucked up.
Right.
So yeah, you can only give it to one person to do the same feature that we have.
Right.
Awesome fucking feature. Sorry, people not understanding it made it worse for everyone else. It was a cool feature.
So and they also had they had some fun games. Was that the one was Xbox the one with Call of Duty?
They didn't really have any fun.
No.
games.
They premiered Rainbow Six, which I like.
What,
The tactical
this year?
Yeah. You know where the mic is, man. You've been doing this for
so
50 shows.
This. Now I'm like,
Don't blame it on that. They had some fun games. I don't know. It didn't persuade me to go buy one though.
last year.
This year, even this year, I was like, eh.
This year they didn't really bring it as much as I was hoping. But the Halo Legacy, like the Master Chief Collection,
Yeah.
where you have all of the Halo games on one disc,
Yeah.
that's pretty fucking awesome. And you don't have to like switch between the games. All you have to do is just pick the part in the story that you want to play, and it cues into that part of the story in the game. So like if you wanted to start with Halo 2, you don't have to boot up a separate disc. You just pick, I want to play this portion of the story, and it's already all loaded into a big time stream or whatever. And then announced Halo 5, but didn't show any of
No.
it.
So Daniel, as an outsider who has not seen this presentation, good. Something
I
fell.
didn't do it.
Good. Yeah. Or bad.
I'm gonna have to give this one a
All
as
right.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris did not excite me over here.
No, he didn't
was
sell
bad.
it. It was okay.
I'm not trying to.
I think it was meh.
It was bad.
Okay, you can have that opinion, but shouting it's bad at me is not going to change mine.
No, I'm not trying to change your. No. I'm just. It was bad. They needed to do a lot more. Last year, they dropped the ball, and this year they dropped the ball again.
Yeah.
And you're on the sophomore run, about to hit for a new system. You got to slam dunk, or you're screwed.
Well, here's the thing, though. They did IGN. It was maybe IGN or Game Informer compiled all of the years worth of games for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 to try and find when was their peak as a system, like what year had the best games. And it wasn't until 4 years after both systems were released that you had 2 to 3 years of consistently highly ranked games, because it takes time to build these things. So if you want to really think about it and be a savvy consumer, don't buy this stuff until 3 to 4 years down the line, when it's probably going to be cheaper and you'll have a ton of games to play from, as well as upcoming titles that are hitting the peak. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to be so invested in one system over the other right now.
However, the late adopters, the problem with that is if everybody starts doing that, there won't be any good games in the future, because of the fact that no one bought into the system with any hope for the future.
But here's my counterpoint. Then developers need to stop making PS3 and 360 versions of the games.
Oh, I
they're
completely
working on.
agree. There should,
Which
need to
they've been
stop.
doing a lot of. Like Arkham Knight, I think, is also going to... No, Arkham Knight's not going to be able to do that.
It's only next gen.
But they are revamping GTA 5, so
Awesome.
which is kind of cool. But they're also like the upcoming Assassin's Creed is also going to be 360 and PS3. Watch Dogs was PS3 and 360 on top of PS4 and Xbox One. So my thinking is, I think developers are terrified of losing that audience. But then, if you're Sony and Microsoft, you've got to feel at some point you guys say, "Hey guys, can you just stop, because we're not supporting this thing anymore. We're trying to get everybody to buy into the new ones. What are you doing?"
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that coming at least from Microsoft, they needed to do more to sell the system, and they didn't do enough. However, Sony, on the other hand, is fucking selling it.
Yeah, they are.
The Sony's press conference was awesome. All of the games looked amazing. Everything looked perfect.
Sony
Nothing
could have
looked
just
bad.
Sony CEOs could have just gone out there and flipped the bird to the entire audience and been like, "You're welcome," and then leave.
Seriously.
And everyone would be like, "You're the best."
Because Sony dropped off. PS2,
Yeah.
awesome system. PS3 just got the wrong start. It should have been a lot better than what it was. It started off late and wasn't really managed
Right.
well in the beginning of the early years. But PS4, on the other hand, I feel like they realized what they did before, because Sony as a company is not doing that well financially.
not.
So they're like, I want all developers, get us the exclusives, get us the things that we need to do, and we'll pay you the money for it. And they're doing it. All the games look perfect. Everything's running 1080p, 60 frames a second. Xbox is 900p
900 something, yeah.
and 35 to 50 frames a second, maybe 60.
So Daniel, good, or bad?
You know what? He got me a little excited
Okay.
about that. I'm gonna have to say good.
You tickled a little
He
bit.
did. He got a little.
Hello.
Ooh.
Oh, they're touching each other, guys. This is pretty hot.
It's getting sensual.
I wish we had a video. We don't.
We might have to start potting like this so that way we can get closer.
We can't. We should.
Because we're very far apart. All we can do is high five.
Maybe
we can do more.
Maybe that's what's been missing. The intimacy. Welcome to Close Potting with Brendan and Chris.
If therapy has taught us anything, we need more intimacy.
Intimacy. So that was E3. Quick word: Arkham Knight was delayed to early 2015. We were all fans of the series. I think we weren't really. We're upset that we can't play it yet, but not devastated.
No, I'm 100% okay, and I'm one of the people that's okay with games getting delayed. The more they get delayed, the better.
Right.
But up to a certain point,
Right.
because then that way we get the product that we're paying the $60 for. Not,
Right.
oh, we have a day one patch, and in a week or two we'll have another patch, and don't worry, we'll get it together.
Right.
When you go into the store and buy the game and it starts updating immediately, that's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know it sucks.
It's discouraging. You're just like, yes, I really want this update.
Yeah.
60%. Oh.
Oh.
All right.
I like putting in a game and it goes,
I
you
guess
can
I could
play
make
it
a
in 2
sandwich.
hours. All right. There goes all my time I had to play this game. I'll see you tomorrow, video game. What else? Anything else? I feel like we got a lot off of our collective chests.
We said a lot of things.
We
lot
did.
of
Said a lot of
words.
things.
Daredevil on Netflix.
Yes.
Yes, they made some big casting announcements on that.
Yep.
Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be Kingpin.
Yes!
I'm so excited.
And then, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what he does. And then Rosario Dawson is going to be in it. That's going to be exciting.
Because she's hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's a good actress.
Yeah.
I think how you're just so demeaning to her. She's like, she's hot, and she can say words nice.
Hey,
she's hot.
But she's hot first and foremost.
she's, I mean, at least for me, she's one of those pretties where you see her and you're just like, oh, the brain's not functioning. Oh, hey, and she's good at stuff.
Yes. So you were valuing them on their face value first.
Yes, of course.
You don't feel that way about all ladies, right, Chris? I'm trying to give you an out.
No, I don't want the out.
No, okay, you're owning that.
You're
I'm
a
owning it.
shallow bastard.
It's fine. They get paid to dance on screen. It's fine with me.
Oh, Chris, you're just
I
making
like
it
the better
worse.
dancers.
You're just
I
making
like the
it
better
worse.
dancers.
Keep digging that
Keep
hole.
digging that
Screw
hole.
me for liking the better dancers.
But I'm excited about Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent
Yeah,
D'Onofrio.
that's
and
pretty
I think
good.
they haven't announced who will be playing Daredevil yet, but I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, if they can do this with the lesser tier characters with some success, that's exciting because that's a good home for them. Netflix, get it all done.
And to be nitty gritty. That's what
Yeah.
I'm excited for. They're going to go, not the ABC Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., family friendly or the movies and stuff like that. And I'm hoping they get, down to some meat and bones.
They're gonna get into it.
Well,
in Hell's Kitchen.
if Netflix has given us any kind of hope, I mean, House of Cards is
Oh,
as
that's
nitty gritty
amazing.
as it gets.
Oh, it
so
is.
that's a good foreshadow.
I think that was a good move for Marvel to do that with Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
To do those 4
yeah.
series and go into that event miniseries at the end of it.
Now, is D'Onofrio still chubby D'Onofrio?
He's lost a little weight since he's gone
Yeah.
off SVU, but he's in the next Jurassic World, and there's some pictures of him, and he's a little slimmer, but pretty much he's got a little
Portly
more.
fella?
He's hefty.
Is he portly?
Yeah, salt and pepper hair now and stuff like that. But
Okay,
He'll shave it bald for.
he might need to
Yeah,
put on a couple
probably.
extra pounds, but then
Absolutely.
he can play the role.
Oh yeah, he could just eat a bunch of stuff too. I mean, it's not like they really made a point of making him muscular. He was just a big man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's that time of the show where we go around and Daniel, this is a new experience, which I'm very excited for.
Oh goodness.
And we may start off with you,
Oh,
if you don't
God.
mind. But we always go around at the end of the
You got
pod.
this. You got this.
Well, actually, let's do Chris first.
No.
That way you can, all right. So we'll do.
All right.
I never.
You never go first. You go last.
I always go first, but
What a gentleman.
Well, I asked the question. What did you learn today? Oh. So Daniel, first time in the chair. Which hey, give it up.
hey,
Oh,
you
thank
survived.
You did a really
Thank
good
you.
job, buddy.
a period of time.
You are always welcome.
I mean, you can tell they have a $0 budget when this is the guest that they can bring.
In this basic storage room that we put together, and you're sharing a mic. So,
Are we in a meat locker somewhere? Is that what this is?
so what did you learn?
What
today?
did I learn? Well, you know what? I learned about the Nightfall.
Yeah.
That was a good little background on Bane.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. That was nice. And that
Chris-
was it. I
That
learned
was it. That's
nothing
okay.
else.
Nothing else
People
happened. That's fine. Chris, what did you learn today?
I learned that I'm okay with being a shallow bastard.
What I learned today is that what Daniel noticed right away is that we may be missing intimacy. So the next pod, I'm going to be nude and right on your lap.
Woohoo! Shallow bastard wins.
For more sexy things, follow us on Twitter at The OBT Show, theobtshow@gmail.com. I'll be nude next time. I'm Brendan.
I'm Chris.
I'm Daniel.
Have a good one. Picture me naked.